as you know, today we have a special guest from Google. So, before, I hand over the platform. So, let me have that honor to introduce Mr. Advin Natto. Let me give you a quick background about Advin. So, to start with, let me have the pleasure to introducing him to all of our audience. Hence, he is currently the UX designer at Google. He started his career in 2008 as a web designer at Sarigamapa Luxury Villa Retreat. So later on, he worked at Build.io as a creative designer for 2 years, 1 month. And later on, he worked at Rails Data Software as a senior user interface designer for 1 year, 9 months. And after that, he worked at Mutual Mobile for 1 year, 9 months as a senior visual designer. Then at ThoughtWorks as lead visual designer for 3 year, 10 months. Then followed by he worked at Algorithm as a lead designer for 3 months, and later on worked as a content stack for 2 years, 1 month as a lead designer experience. And later on he worked at head of design at Caesar EU for 3 months. And to give you a quick background, he has done his Bachelor of Animation and Graphic Designing from Mahatma Gandhi University. And it's really pleasure having you, Edwin, with us. So over to you.
Thank you, Vimlesh. Just like Vimlesh mentioned, thanks for taking the time on a Saturday. It's an effort on my end as well as on your end. So let's make use of this time in a better way. I'll give my best in order to, serve you all good during this 1 hour time. So my intention is to wrap up this call in 35-40 minutes. In between 30-40 minutes, and then if you have any questions at the end, I would like to keep at least 20 minutes in order to ask questions. We can do a Q&A. If you think that if you have any burning questions in between, you could raise your hand, and maybe Vimlesh, you could stop me in between, and they could ask the question. So let's get started. Just like you might have seen in the webinar details, I'm Advin. I work at Google, and I work as a UX designer. And I'm originally from Kerala, and I'm currently staying in Whitefield, Bangalore. And I'm very much active on 2 platforms. One is LinkedIn and Instagram. You could follow me for life updates 99%. And sometimes I post design wisdoms too. So I'll briefly talk about my journey, how I landed up in design. So early childhood, when many of my friends were really good at studies, I was constantly compared with them because I was really bad at studies. And I wasn't able to, understand. I tried my level best. I even cried for days understanding, why I'm not able to even remember the slightest of the 1-page essay that was there in Hindi, English, all of that. And the only thing, hey, Abhinav, so art was the only thing that I was really good at, and I loved playing video games and attending competitions, art competitions. So just like anyone's childhood, right? Everyone will have their love towards video games. I think most people do. That's what I've seen. My interest in playing the games were more towards exploring rather than, many people would play it in such a way that they want to go to the next level. My I have always played the games in such a way that I try to see what's written on the if I'm playing road rash, I will try to see if I can go how much far I could go into the grass. I would try to, rather than playing game, I would see what are the different things I could do there. And I would be really interested in understanding the graphics. Even I have, if I don't know if you remember the Road Rash game. I don't know how many of you know the loading or the splash screen of Road Rash when you get busted or when you are lose the game. It has really good wide angle shots of different illustrations, and that's the time when I started realizing how good of a graphic that is. And it's a still image, but still, it used to help get me excited about art in general and design in general. So like I said, I was really bad at all the studies, all the subjects, and I barely used to pass in most of the subjects. The only subject that I was really good at was art, and I won several you know awards for it. So talking about my +1, +2 time, so that's when most of the pivotal point of any career, right? I um, I attended, so I got biology science. That was my major during +1, +2. So I had the option to write MBBS and engineering entrance examination, and I even prepared for it. My parents, you know, uh, got me into some tuition classes where they would help me get better at it, especially looking at previous year's question paper and trying to get me prepared for that. But even with all that preparation, I clearly failed those exams at a, n- not even at an optimistic level. Like, I one rank for MBBS, there was not even rank to display. It was disqualified was the result I got. For engineering, at least I got around 80, 90,000, I guess. That's the rank which I got. So uh, for for my parents, it was easy to understand that, uh, I cannot go further in taking an engineering or medicine, even if they are ready to spend money on it to get me a paid seat in some college. So it took me the courage to tell my dad and mom saying that I don't want to study. I can't study. I will go mad, or I will fail. Both are not good for you and me. So my dad asked me, what would you like to do? What is it that you want to do? He gave me 2 months time in order to come up with a course that I wanted to do, which would help me get a job. So there were many options. One was ophthalmology, which was like again this very niche job where you need to study about the eyes, only eyes, and you'll get a some attendant job in some medical college. But then I felt like it's all boring. So this that's when I started identifying. I started asking myself, what is it that I wanted to do? Then I thought art is something. So there were two options. One is BFA, and then there was a new college getting started not near to my college, like 30, 40 kilometers away from my college. And that's where I thought I would, join that course and try it out. I went and saw the syllabus. It was interesting. So I told my dad that I wanted to join this college. Then he asked me, what are you going to do after learning that? And nobody has heard about anything with graphic design or animation. These terms were very new to even my even to me. And so I realized that this game has been designed by someone, right? So I want to be the person who designed that. So to become a game designer, what is it that I need to do? So 3D is something that I need to learn, is what I understood. And these were the times when internet wasn't there or barely there. And so in 2005, I joined this college, and I still remember when I was coming back from my admission. After the admission, my mom was asking, "Hey, what exactly are you planning to do? Are you She is concerned and she is asking me, do you think you after graduating you will be drawing on the shutter of the shops and all that? I said, no, mom. Maybe I'll be working with Cartoon Network. You see Cartoon Network and all, right? Maybe I'll get job in such places where I'll be able to draw and do animations and stuff. So I want to briefly touch upon this course and its pros and cons. So back then there was it was very generic and it was a very mature. Right now, if you look at it, it's much more streamlined and has a lot of structure in the way courses are provided or taught. Back then, it was very basic, and um, I would say I'll, I for me it did good. So it made me understand all the areas of, just because I wasn't sure that which area I want to go forward. So if I had a specialization saying that game designing, if I had gone there, then I wouldn't be becoming a UX designer. I would be become maybe that's not something that so only here it gave me the understanding that what is graphic design and what is sculpting, a lot of 3D, and it also taught me web design, HTML, a little bit of HTML, and all of it in at a fundamental level, or even 2D. I don't know how many of you follow 2D animation. It's like I have done traditional cell animation method where you trace on the top of a light box where you can draw the next frame. Right now we have onion skins in softwares. Back then it wasn't there. It was there in Flash. I don't know even some of any of you know Macromedia Flash, which was again bought by Adobe later, but then they changed it. So the cons was jack of all trades and but master of none, which is okay. Which I felt like after graduation I had it helped me understand there are two areas which I am really interested in and skillful about. Those areas are 3D and design. And 3D, to me, when I looked at the people who have been working in 3D industry, I felt like, they're getting paid almost similar, but their job is much more tedious. While compared to design, it's instant. So for 3D, even I'm talking about a few, like 12, 13 years, 14 years back, that time, we had only systems which would take, even for an image to render, it would take at least uh, sometimes it had taken 6 8 hours for me to render one image. So it wasn't instantaneous, like you will not get instant result, but design was instant. If I do something in Photoshop and Illustrator, it's there, you get the instant result. So that kind of helped me to work around, iterate a lot, and then get into the result. And that was the reason, major reason, why I choose graphic design. Now, talking about my career. So 2008, I started in. Vimlesh said that it's Sarigama. No, it's Sri Raga. I know it's a tough one to spell, but mm, in that place, it was a very easy job. Like if you, this is not when it wasn't taken at that time, but more or less in similar time. Uh, you were really comfortable doing, or I was really comfortable doing that job. In a year working there, I realized, I'm not learning a lot, and money is also, comparatively low. So, and for me, it was really comfortable. I could go there. I'll sit in my own cabin. Uh, that was the time of Orkut, uh, and I used to fill in the scrapbook of paper, and very less work too, because it was a tour operating company. They were paying a very minimal salary to maintain me. So I realized in a year that if I stay in such kind of jobs, I got bored really easily. And I moved to Mumbai. And the reason why I moved to Mumbai was to learn more, improve my English, and earn more. And if you look at my career path, I'm not going into the detail of all of it. From Mumbai, I moved to Chennai, and from Chennai, I moved to Hyderabad, and from Hyderabad, I moved to Bangalore, and so on. So if you look at in all my switches, when I get bored of one organization, and that's when I switch to a different company. And always my need was to learn more and earn more. And I'll um, I'll I'll give you one example of what happened in 2015. So in 2015, and that's when I was in Hyderabad. I got bored of Mutual Mobile, the company where I was working for, majorly because of a lot of things. But uh, it was focusing just on mobile platform, and from there I wanted to learn more about desktop, and I wanted to work in a, a wide array of a portfolio. I wanted to enrich my portfolio with a lot of other work. Not that I'm saying that Mutual Mobile didn't provide me all of that, but I felt like my learning was getting stagnant, and a lot of leadership changes were happening, and that also made me realize that I need to look for another job. And that's when I cleared interview in these three areas. And the first company, I was even not really happy about the interview process itself. TW and in Mobi was really good. And if you look at the salary that they have offered, clearly in Mobi was winning. And I'm talking about 2015. So they gave me a really good offer, which none of the companies were offering, I believe, at that point. And TW was offering TW is nothing but ThoughtWorks was offering me a marginal payoff. It was the industry standard pay, I would say. Now, uh, if I was thinking only money here, I would have chosen in Mobi. But what I and this is my generic process in choosing or switching between companies. What I look forward for, I look at the portfolio of the company. I'll make a 3-year plan on what I will be doing there, what will be the impact on my portfolio. And I will also be looking at the Glassdoor reviews. I will be looking at, what is the outlook of the CEO, what they think about. If you look at the other side of the world, if you are looking at ThoughtWorks LinkedIn profile or their website, they will only say nice things about them, right? If you want to know something, uh, what really this company is about, you need to look at the Glassdoor reviews. Right now, there are other platforms too. If you are familiar with Blind is one application really good at serving information that's happening internally inside the company, and it's anonymous too. So people are very open there. And the last thing would be the tech. uh, when I say tech, are they like focusing on the current trends and adapting to the latest tech? Are they looking at wearables? Are they looking at augmented reality? Are they looking at AI? All of that you'll be able to understand by going through the blogs and the kind of portfolio that particular company hold. And also, if you could talk to multiple people who are working there, then that will also be a good point. Now, I'll also talk in let I'm not saying that I have always followed this. I have tried the different approach too. I have selected a higher package too. So uh, I think it was in 2018 or 19. I don't remember exactly around that time. I got this offer from Algorithm in Abu Dhabi. Now I'm talking about 30,000 dirham per month and tax free. So it was around 6 lakh per month. So for me, that was really good money. And that too, it's tax free is, we need to quote it because here the government eats around 30% of what you get. There it's not. So for me, that was like, a jackpot. And I thought I would pick it up. So it took me around 5 months to process the visa. And I only stayed there for 3 months. And that was a bad move, right? Like, I made a bad choice. Only after reaching there, I realized that uh, design scene or the IT scene in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, for that matter, is very immature. So for me, I felt like, it is an area where, I could maybe, be ultra rich by now if I was staying there. But then, my entire life I need to stay there. I will not be able to move out because I'll be incompetent. With if I have worked there for 4 or 5 years and if I come back and then try it in India, you know, I will not even be able to compete with the people here because my level would have been like, it will not be going up, it will be going down. So my learning, so again, touching upon this, there is the fine line that you need to draw between this. If, if it is more learning and more money, if you get both in one company, that's the best. If you are sacrificing on any of it, you'll be facing a lot of consequences later in your career. So be careful about when you're switching or when you're choosing your employer. You have to do your due research when you're picking up your organization. Now, I'll briefly touch upon the areas which are the core design skills that you need to have as a designer. When you're starting up your career, you need to have knowledge in user research, wireframing, and prototyping, visual designing, and user testing. Uh, and there are companies which would hire you as a fresher for each having the specific areas to focus on. But I would say in your early stages of your career, at least you need to have um, understanding of each area. For you to have a better understanding of each area, you need to it's good if you could work uh, play all the roles in an organization, at least in the earlier stages of your career. That would help you understand which area you love more. So initially I have done this all, and those were the times when there was no UI/UX term was very familiar, or not many people know about it. So knowingly or unknowingly, I used to do all of it. But if I check, visual design was the area which I was really comfortable with, and I was able to, I could, um, uh, I could take the trust of clients by showing my visual design skills, and they think they instantly they will be able to think that I am a creative person. Uh, that has helped me sell my designs really faster. So in when I was working in ThoughtWorks, I realized that if I was only focusing on visual design, and if I'm not looking at wireframing or prototyping, and also maybe user research, then I was losing out on a lot of opportunities. So for when a project gets started, there are a lot of research that you need to get started. So we call it inception stage. In an inception phase, if you are not uh, that's when you interact with your clients. That's when you interact with the business and the users. So if you are not ready to invest, or if you are not ready to learn that and do that, there will be people who will be ready to do that. And those were the people who will get the complete you are not getting the complete control of the product is one problem that I faced. Second problem that I faced is they do the traveling, they get to do all the fun things. And I, as a visual designer, I was sitting in a corner and just doing the visual design. Okay, they come up with all the research data and they come up with the wireframing, and they have uh, come up with the skeleton. Now I just need to apply the flesh there. So um, I when I felt like I'm not getting the complete control of the product and also missing out on great opportunities to travel across the globe, I felt like I need to game up. I need to start doing all of it. Now, when you do all of it, it is called T-shaped profile, where you have a greater understanding of how to formulate best research methodologies to understand how to, navigate a problem statement, to do the user research and stuff. And these are the generic skills that one could have. Now, I'll talk about the essential skills. Not many people talk about this. So communication is really important. If you are not, so I believe in this. If you are not able to sell your design, you are not a good designer. So uh, we are known as users advocate, right? That's a term that's very popular. A designer is UI/UX designer is also known as a users advocate. If you are not able to, fight for your user, then you will be losing that case, and at the end you will be shipping a solution that's not good for your users, and your users will struggle. So I would say communication would help you gain control of any the design solution you are presenting. Let it be to your stakeholders, let it be within your um, uh, within your team. If you are not able to sell your design, you know I would say you fail as a designer. Then observation and attention to detail, right? So a good designer will always observe. They will be really excited about the little things that they notice. um, I was excited about pull to refresh when Twitter introduced it. I get excited about when you cancel a voice note on WhatsApp, the way the bin animation works. It opens the bin and the voice recording comes into it and it closes the lid. All of that are the observation that would help you build your own style and design. The more you observe, the more better you get at design. If you think that if you think that your design is not really up to the mark, that's when you start looking at what are the good designs. If it is apple.com, why it is why it is good. So first thing that I would do is I will try to exactly replicate the apple or whatever design that you like. Now that you practice it, now you will understand, okay, these are the right proportions for a when there is an icon and a text next to it, that has to have some sort of uh, visual balance. And only with practice and with observation you'll be able to identify that. And attention to detail is also really important. If you look at most of the great products are great because of the attention to detail that they had given. They will not settle down for anything less or mediocre. So if you get irritated about 1 or 2 pixel, and if you can identify, so I don't know how many of you observed here, you see this gem, I didn't like it, and I noticed it while I was presenting it. So I didn't that if that needs to you need to get irritated about it. Now empathy. I'll talk about empathy later at the end, but and very essential skill to have as a designer. Networking and evangelizing. So if if you do great work, And if you are not talking about it in the right platform and right, if you are not connecting with the right audience, nobody would be interested in learning who Edwin is, who Vimlesh is, who XYZ is. Nobody would be interested in learning who you are. And it's your responsibility to say that, you know what, hey, I did some great work and you should check it out. And you might, uh, I was an introvert for a really long time, and um, I took the courage to break it. I would say I'm an extrovert now. I would say I'm an ambivert. I'm a mix of both. I, it took me some time to, you know, get onto a stage like this and talk to people. I my voice used to fumble, and I never used to be really comfortable talking to people. Even now, if you hear my voice, you will be able to see the slightest of you know trembling, or I'm sometimes I lose the confidence. But I'm practicing. I'm trying to break it down, and I'm seeing how I could come out of it. Uh, the more you are able to talk to people and share a connection, the more you put your work out there in the platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever that you think that you have a good rhythm, you try to build your reputation. And it doesn't happen. And one main major thing is it never happens overnight. It will take at least, its own sweet time to build your reputation and, your presence. And slowly people will start noticing it. Today, on an average, I get at least 2 or 3 referral requests on my LinkedIn. Every time they come up with uh, the message saying that, hey, you know what, it most probably would be crafted by a chat GPT or bot, and they will give you hey, Edwin, I'm really excited about your career growth and would like to connect with you. At the same time, you could, can you take a look at my resume and see if you could find a matching position in your organization? I mean, why would I do that, right? Why I need to do uh, just because I need to help someone? Do you think I'll be able to refer all the people I get on a daily basis to my organization? My organization might block me if I do that, and I cannot do it, right? And for that matter, if anyone whom you reach out to, they will not, and they will be having their own stuff to do on day-to-day basis, and uh, why would they invest time in you to understand? But at the same time, they might be having dedicated time to scroll through LinkedIn or Instagram. At that time, if they see randomly your post, and if you say that, you know Japan has a design system and many other countries have a design system, but India doesn't have one, and uh, it would look like something like this if we had a design system in place. Now that's an interesting topic for me. Now I might understand and go through that particular person. So now it's my need to learn more about you, not the other way around. And it should never be like that. So when you are trying to network, try to put that angle there and see, do the good work, and try to post it wherever you can, and make use of uh, the platforms that we have, and people that we have there. So somehow you will get noticed. And this, like I said, you need to have patience there. Now, I'm not going in depth here. I have told, or I have talked in brief about the career path which I took, and how I navigate each organization, and how I build how I crafted my career there. Now, if you look at, if you are a starter in design, these are the areas which you could look at and start understanding. Initially, you might like one area, and see how you could focus on that area instead of putting your hand across um, all the other areas. I would say focus on one area and master at it. The other areas you could slightly bring it if you think that's an area which have a lot of potential. Let's say user researcher is something that you like, but only very few companies and opportunities are out there for a dedicated UX researcher and UX writer too. Not many companies, but at Google we have used all of these positions, and it's very hard to get a good UX writer here. Uh, and it's very important, and the kind of value that they bring to each project, it's enormous. uh, so sometimes some organizations will have such kind of specific openings, but you find your area of interest by working on each areas. Now, keeping up with the design or industry trends. So continuous learning and staying updated with the industry trends is really important. Now, if you look at 2 years back, there was less of AI. Now, if you look at, everyone is talking about AI, and many people have been, messaging me and asking, "Hey, what's your opinion about, AI taking over our job?" And I've told them that if you are not ready to adopt to the changes, then you can't you will not be able to uh, excel in it. So if AI comes, I would say try to try to adapt to it. Try to see how you could use that in your workflow. Or try to make use of the AI to do the jobs that you used to do, uh, monotonous work, I would say. The kind of work that anybody could do with the help of AI, you try to streamline it in your process and make use of the AI's help in order to streamline your job. And how do you learn all this? You need to keep updated with yourself by following multiple people, multiple companies. Let it be LinkedIn, let it be YouTube, wherever you think you start trying to. And don't just listen and leave. I would say try it. If you learn about Mid Journey, go and try it. Maybe you might some most of them are offering a premium plan where you could try it out, and then you could pay later. Or it's okay to invest in few things because these are part of your learning. If I wasn't ready to learn, then I wouldn't be keeping updated with the tech, and I wouldn't be knowing what all are the solutions that I could use in my designs if I don't understand what's happening in the tech side. So it's really important for you to keep updated with the industry trends. Now, networking and participating in design communities, which I already covered. Now, building a career, right? Constructing a career in the UI domain. So more or less, what it all sum up what I've been trying to say, that um, there are people who work as designer who doesn't have any. In fact, my manager, he doesn't have any formal education in design, and also the way he works will get you amazed at how much of self-learning he had done, how much of in-depth knowledge he has about in all the areas. Where if you're dedicatedly, if you could do the self-learning and if you could attend online courses and learn yourself, that's good enough. But you need to identify yourself whether you could do it, or you do have the patience to do it. And formal education is nothing but you have a dedicated space. You are forced to go to college. You know that this is the timetable that you need to follow. Then you are in a system. Um, you will have to go through the system in order to pass the education. So that becomes a forced education, right? Forced learning. But if you are a person who uh, easily demotivated by lack of inspiration, or if you don't have a lot of patience, formal education is something that I would recommend. But otherwise, if you could have if you have the ability to learn yourself and see uh, or construct your path, career path or learning path, then I would recommend self-learning. Courses, certifications, and degrees in UI UX. Courses, right? Lot of courses are there. Even I believe Times Pro is doing some courses, and there are many other platforms that does courses and certifications. And to an extent, certifications put a credibility to your profile, that it will give you an idea that you know stuff, or give the hiring managers or recruiters an idea that you know stuff. Degrees also, but none of this is mandatory to get a job in, let's say, MNCs like Google or Apple. Um, Even without having a degree, you will be able to get a job. So there are people who have uh, many people have this misconception that they only hire from top tier colleges like IITs, and maybe for a fresher hiring drive and all of that stuff, maybe they will go to IITs, but not a lateral entry. They will, and as long as you have a really good portfolio showcasing your skills, it's you'll get the job. And if you have questions on building the strong portfolio, it is a big topic. I'm not covering it here. Maybe at the end, if you have questions on it, maybe I'll explain it in that format. Internships are good to have, and pet projects. So when you get started in your career, it's very hard to get placed as a fresher, because most of the people will be checking out for experience. That's because you don't have a strong portfolio to show. You cannot show the stuff that you have done in your college. What would really excite them or excite a hiring manager or a recruiter would be if you have done some additional pet projects. So when I say pet projects, you could take any burning problem on your day-to-day life and see how you could solve it, or you need to do the research first, whether it's only a burning problem for you or for everyone else, and see if you could do a solutioning around it and document that case study. So that would be a good project for you to showcase and get an internship, or get a head start in your career. There are for freelancing, there are a lot of challenges. Especially, I don't have the courage to go full-time freelancing because of the regular cash flow. While I know it has its own pros, where you could be your own boss, you could take breaks whenever you want, and define your timings. Basically, you could be your own boss. You don't have anyone else to, you know, um, uh, m- make, prove your accountability. So, but it has its own cons. Sometimes, there will be times when you don't have projects coming, or the current ongoing project, they might wrap it up and your cash flow is gone. So you cannot clearly plan your financial situations, and it's like a business. So know the uh, aspects of business, starting a business, right? So it's more or less same, but at a small scale. But if you are courageous enough to get started and see how the freelancing goes, and there are a lot of websites that provides freelancing opportunities. The best way to get freelancing projects, and I get freelancing projects then and there at times. Sometimes I don't pick it up. Sometimes I pick it if I have more bandwidth. And mostly it's through LinkedIn. The most of the works that I have got, but there are other platforms like but I would not say, go and invest in Fiverr or such platforms where you are bidding on some designs and stuff. Don't do that. Instead, I would say, um, you know, network it professionally and try to gain insights and see. Sometimes, get started with projects which you think are exciting for to build your portfolio at free of cost, like, on a pro bono basis. Job search and interviews, right? So I'll talk about how my interview went with Google in brief. So a resume, am I over time? I think I'll have to wrap it up quickly to give you guys the time to ask the questions. So a resume, uh, um, building a resume is the toughest than I thought it would be. So when when I started applying for multiple companies, I felt like my resume is not getting the exposure it needs. I'm not hearing back from some of the companies I wanted to really work with. Now that uh, becomes a problem, and I applied design thinking there. I considered it as a problem that I need to solve as a designer. Now I started doing the research. I talked to multiple recruiters whom I know. I sent them the resume and I said that, yeah, consider you don't know me. Will you hire me? Then I'll get to know the insights from them that hey, you know what, nobody will do the math of uh, looking at, hey, you started your career from 2008 to 2009, and there is 1 year or 2 year 3 year. I Now I'll not do the math to conclude by saying that, okay, this person has 15 years of experience. uh, if you could write it upfront, that would be a strong standout. So if you are writing out your resume saying that you have 15 years of experience as a designer, or like 2 years of experience as a designer, that would help them move faster in understanding you better. So they said that they don't, mostly a recruiter would be spending um, 10 to 15 seconds on a resume. And that's when they decide whether they need to invest more time in it or not. So I have a detailed out how I was able to build my resume on my Instagram. Uh, you should check it out if you are looking for tips on resume. So basically, it should talk more about what you're currently doing than what your past is, and also you need to you shouldn't repeat what's there in your LinkedIn, because a, a link to LinkedIn would be enough. Uh, to help them understand what's the, and also mostly the first thing that a recruiter would be checking is your LinkedIn profile and the authenticity of both your resume and your LinkedIn. So don't repeat the same thing that's there. It's okay to repeat the companies that you have worked and stuff like that, but don't repeat the same about me and stuff like that on from LinkedIn. Try to match it with. So if you are really focusing on getting in one particular company, try to modify your resume matching the job description. Let's say if it is the communication skill that they are talking about, um, if that's very important for them to get that, fill that position, try to include that in your resume in some manner. Maybe you could add sentences like, my communication skills have watched me or got me the trust to sell my designs really faster. Then common interview questions and how to approach them. So when I got when my resume was shortlisted, I was really happy when I got the call from the recruiter at Google. So they gave me a schedule of what all how many rounds of interview. So there were 8 rounds of interview, and in each round they are expecting something out of me. And I started Googling or YouTubing, each section or each schedules, and I started asking questions. I started, doing the research on how they would answer it, how different people would answer it. So now a lot of things I learned. One such thing is whiteboarding. How to formulate great questions, and these questions are really important. So how to do the role play there, to make them the user first, or business stakeholder first, and then how you drive that 45 minutes and bring the solution, what you need to be focusing on the first 20 minutes, all of that. It's available on YouTube and many other places. So it's the matter of you doing the research and getting what you need. Now, presenting your design process and problem solving skills. It's really important to uh, talk in breadth of the problems that uh, you 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 have you have in your case study, and how you apply uh, design thinking there. Don't get into the solution first. uh, Everything has its own, structure in place. If you have approached a problem with a double diamond process, explain that, how your usual process would be, how you converge, diverge, how discover, define, and develop and deliver. How do you do that? And what are the different stages of design thinking that you applied? All of these are really important. And the last thing is, not many people. So if you look at all the candidates out there, more or less everyone has the similar portfolio. They will be having multiple case studies. They might have been solving good problems, and more or less everyone is following the design thinking process at the moment. But how do you select one candidate in from that? How do you think that, okay, this is the person I want to be in my team, to work with? So you need to have something extra. What is that extra? You could define what is that extra. So it could be like, if you like to talk about design, do some blog, you write it on Medium, share it on LinkedIn. You do that evangelizing, and then people would understand that, okay, this person has passion, and it is not his day-to-day job. He's doing it, or she is doing it out of passion, and they have that energy or fire inside them, uh, that that explicitly shows, and you cannot fake it. Even if you try to fake it, you cannot fake it for long. Only if you have the real fire inside you, and you think that you love what you do. So for me, that's how it has always been. I think I'll okay, there is one more slide. So uh, like I mentioned, continuous learning is really important. I started in Photoshop, then there was time of Illustrator, and then there was time of Sketch, InVision, um, and Zeppelin, then Figma. So tools are getting evolved on day-to-day basis. Are now it is Figma. Maybe after some years it would be some other tool. So how do you keep yourself updated? You need to be on the edge of everything. Like if you ask, if someone asks me, hey, you do, dude, how about we apply this here? Then I would say that, dude, how about every time your website loads, we will connect the Midjourney plugin here or delay here, and let it let it understand the browser cookies and give an artwork that they love. So it becomes much more personalized. If I have to provide a solution like that, I need to understand what are the capabilities of Midjourney and delays. Only when I keep myself updated with all these technologies that's happening around, all the new things that are happening. So sometimes, some will be the trend for the time being, and it might go down, but understand all of it. So when beacons were introduced, I built an application and I won a hackathon in my previous organization, where we could place beacon. I don't know how many of you know. And even just because I know the abilities of beacon, when I was working on the Bangalore airport application, Even if now now you go, you will be able to see after the security gate check-in, you will be able to see multiple devices connected, like hexagon shaped beacons on the top. Those things we placed it just to navigate. So indoor mapping, we work with Google Maps at that time to do the indoor mapping and to navigate to the different gates properly. So beacons used to help with that. So uh, only when you know the technology, that's when you will be able to adopt it in your design and provide solutions. Don't force fit it for the sake of using a tech, but you will find the need. Uh, this I have talked about. Now, to end with, there are two things that I would really love all of you to do. Get out of your comfort zone. I know that you have taken this call on a Saturday, and you you could have been sleeping, or you might be having a hangover of the last night party, but you took the time to come here and attend this. I would say do it more often. Do it to the level where you are uh, like making progress in your life, and don't be hard on yourself too. Like you find a balance. Don't push yourself too hard and break your mental peace. You need to have a balance for everything. um, what I used to do is I keep uh, one day for every weekend, one day for learning and one day for fun. So not a hard earned rule, but that if I observe my pattern, that's how I used to do. So maybe based on how your energy level is, uh, how much you can push, get out of it. Then empathy. So I have seen people who have great empathy. I've seen people, if your mom is asking something, and if you're commanding your mom, saying that, you know what, I need this by morning, or if you think that your mom is washing the utensils in the night, and if you're not going there and speaking to her and trying to empathize with her, then you're thinking less about her. And that goes in every other places. So naturally, if you have the empathy as a core principle in your life, like, if let it be anything, the way you talk to a security guard define who you are as a person. Like just because he doesn't have a privileged job, that doesn't make you a bigger person. Now making him big, giving him first priority to do something, uh, all of this are simple things, but those are empathy. Now I would you might ask, why you are talking about all this in the context of design, right? It's very important that if you have naturally empathetic about the stuff you do, you will feel the pain of the user when you are trying to uh, provide a solution. And that's for me, it has helped me a lot. For me, when I hear about a problem, a statement, I really get to feel what a user might be going through. Now I am very much invested in solving the pain points. So that gives me a good feeling when when I have solved. I understand that, okay, and I will fight for that with multiple stakeholders. I don't care if my English. And one thing to I'll wrap it up with that. One thing to tell you is, if when I say communication, it's not in English. I'm not talking about the fluency in English. I'm talking about one such thing where you will be able to uh, if you have an idea in your head, and if you are able to communicate well, that's enough. It doesn't matter if it is in broken English or Hindi or Malayalam or whatever language that you're comfortable. And if the other person is able to understand what you're trying to say, that's it. And with that, I would like to, you know, I know I have run over time. If you have any burning questions, maybe, we could discuss that.
Yeah. So thank you, Advin. That was a really great session. I think there are a couple of questions in chat. Some anonymous attendee has asked, does AI replaces UI UX job?
No, I told you already. I said that at present, at least, no. Again, it will evolve. So you also need to evolve. You need to figure out how to use AI to your advantage. And I think uh,
Yes.
that's it.
I think there's one question from Adarsh Balakrishnan. Does one need a academics degree to be an UI UX designer?
I covered in brief there that you doesn't if you're a self learner you could do it on your own, and for a self learner you need to have the patience, and if you are uh, like a person who doesn't uh, uh, if you need a drive behind you to do something, then a formal education would help you. But none of it is mandatory to get you a job in many of the MNCs out there. At least for Google, you don't need.
I think there's this question from Kriti saying, hi, I'm a self-learning UI UX design. And my question is, what kind of projects do hiring manager expect from a fresher? And what are things they look in a fresher designer portfolio? Like, do they focus more on the storytelling and thinking process behind every design decision, or prefer how do a person design and tool? I think there's a lot more question. So I think it
Mm.
would be great if you can take up the question and you can answer it.
Right, right. Kriti, yeah, like I mentioned, design when you are presenting a case study. Also, first thing is mostly that all of the hiring managers would be looking at is if you have enough case studies, at least two case studies, two detailed case studies, and these case studies as a fresher, how you would I already mentioned that to have pet projects or work on some pro bono, look for people who are seeking for to help with their platform. Imagine you have some relatives who have a business out there, and what if we would digitize it? How much of revenue it would bring? So maybe things like that, and then work on a detailed case study applying design thinking process, which is very important because most of the people doesn't follow that, and as a result they wouldn't crack the initial screening phase. So it's important for you to really look at uh, uh, building a good portfolio with neat design thinking process. And when I say thinking process, it needs to have the problem, what you're trying to solve. It needs to have the user research or the metrics that you have captured, and also the kind of user persona or user group that you have set. It needs to cover the current user journey and what are the pain points, and it also need to have the prospect or proposed user journey, and you tested it with your users, and if it is solving all the problems that are currently facing, and then you get into the visual design phase, and these are the visuals. The reason why I choose this color is because the age group that I'm targeting is this, and mostly it's Gen Z, and that's the reason why I wanted it to be more vibrant. Or it could be like hey, this is the typography because it's scalable. I wanted it to be unwearable, and the reason why this font has multiple weights, and or this is the branding font, and this is what we need to stick with. So you validate all the design thinking that you have there and talk in breadth how you arrived at the solution. Solution is the last thing that you saw. Sure. Um, Rust is process, but don't keep it lengthy, keep it very precise, and add a lot more visuals. If you're doing a user research, capture that, capture a picture of it, and document that. Two things: it will help them uh, get to think with you with that particular scenario, and also it will be less boring.
Perfect. I think there's a two more question from anonymous attendee. How
Hmm.
much experience it would take to enter in a product-based company, and how was your Google interview? A little insight, please.
I already mentioned about Google interview process. It was tough for me, especially if you had to go through 8 rounds of interview. It was really, and every time you are on the edge, and these people are like, asking all the right questions, and you need to be very careful about the answers you give. So most of the questions that I need to apply. Um, car car is something like context, action, and result. So or star method. So if they are asking, hey, can you tell me a time when you have uh, you have navigated an ambiguity in your project? So maybe, I would say that so this happened in a project I was working with PVR cinemas, and that's when the project had a lot of ambiguity in terms of this and this. So first thing that I need to give them is the context and what is the action I took, and as a result of that, so and so things happened. So that's how you need to structure your answer when they are asking questions like that. So a lot of things I learned, and like I mentioned, I learned it through reading a lot of blogs and YouTube videos. Help me. What else?
Great. Thanks, Advin. There's a one more question from Noyonika Banerjee. This was a great session. I just had one question. Are you still able to stay afloat with your art and visual design, staying
Hmm.
in the UI UX industry?
Yeah, I'm able to. And again, I don't have to use it all the time in the projects that I'm part of. What I do is I try to do it on my pet projects. I still am doing pet projects. When I say pet projects, if you follow me on Instagram, you will be able to see some of the um, stuff I have done. I'm currently doing, or sometimes I can on and off there, fixing the broken series. I started this, and I'm trying to challenge all the mediocre designs that we have currently and are living with, and how. Uh, what would be my proposal. So you should all check it out. So that's how I stay afloat.
Think there's a lot of questions are floating. I think we'll take one more questions.
Yeah,
I think the questions keep floating. There's one more question from Bharani. Bharani R. What do you mean a standout resume and portfolio? How to make it more perfect?
like I mentioned, a standout resume you know should have like what you're currently doing, and you know in so far how many years of experience you have, where all you have worked, what are the industries you have worked, and what is the value that you could bring to the table apart, not like regularly saying, hey, I'm a passionate individual who could positively contribute to your organization. Those are like generic. Make it personalized, like try to understand the position you are applying for. Try to look at the job description, and you do a check on each of it, whether if they say that, hey, you need to be really good at user research, are you really good at user research? Check that. Now, don't directly communicate that in your resume. Indirectly do that in a much better way, like how you have applied user research in one of your projects has helped you gain more insights, which has been crucial to get earn trust from my stakeholders. Stuff like that would help you stand out in your resume. And detail about my resume is also there on I'm not I'm not overselling my Instagram, but I'm saying that it is also there on Instagram, where I have posted, what are the essential things that people would look on our resume.
Perfect. Great.
Yep.
I think we are running out of time. I think,
Hmm.
before we, people, I think still there are a lot of questions are coming. In case if the questions which have been not answered in the session, please write us to the AICOA Times Pro mail ID. We'll try to get back to the answer. I think before we, end up this session, I'll quickly touch upon our program. So as Advin spoke in depth today about how one can craft a successful career in UI/UX. So I would like to speak about a program that Times Pro offers. With the collaboration with IIT Roorkee, we have a program on Think, Design, and Create certificate program in UI/UX. So basically, this is a 6-month program which will help individuals to acquire a mindset of innovation and user-centric thinking and learn tools and techniques to excel in the rapidly increasing field of user interface and experience design. And basically, this course will introduce you to concepts like UI animation, UI transition, and Figma prototyping, gamification, how to make a unique portfolio, and many more. With the capstone project, you will get a hands-on experience in the dynamic field. You will also get learn tools like Figma and Adobe Illustrator. By the end of this program, you will able to develop interactive prototypes and wireframes to visualize and test design concept. So this program will also give you opportunity of 5 days campus immersion at IIT Roorkee, where IIT Roorkee campus, where you will get to meet the professors and the faculty and the peers and network with them. You can prove your expertise through joint certificate from CEC, IIT Roorkee, and Times Pro. If someone aspiring to pursue a career in UI/UX, this program is for you to explore the opportunity and enroll the program. So I'm gonna just post the link of the program in case if anybody is interested, you can just visit the program in our website and you can just have a look. And I think it's already 12:10. We are running out of time, and it's time for us to ramp up the session. So firstly, I would like to thank Edwin for taking up this session, and it was a really interactive session. I think all of our learners have enjoyed, with the way you have started your career and how you ended up cracking a job in a different big industry in UI/UX. So it set a great example for all the viewers. And I'm looking forward, in case in the future, if possible, we can plan one more session with you, and I'm looking forward for that. And also, I would like to thank all the participants who have taken out their time on the Saturday morning and joined this Times Pro Tech Saturday webinar. I hope this was an insightful session for you. And in case if we are not able to take up your questions, please, as I mentioned, please feel free to write us, and we'll try to address all your queries. And thank you once again, and we'll get back to you on next Saturday with a different topic. So till then, take care and have a great weekend. And thank you, Advin, once
Yep.
again.
Thanks for having me, Vimlesh, and all the people who have joined. Thanks for participating in it. Take care. Bye bye.